I should have noticed it the moment she smiled at me in the airport parking lot, the kind of smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. It was early morning. The air smelled of rain-soaked asphalt and jet fuel. I had picked my parents up for a week-long European trip I'd painstakingly arranged. A dream of mine to give them something unforgettable. But the second I caught her glance, a strange chill ran down my spine. Though I couldn't tell why. I shrugged it off. Maybe it was just exhaustion from the early flight, the excitement in my chest, or the pressure of orchestrating perfection for my parents' happiness. We piled the luggage into the trunk. Mom fussed over her scarves. Dad cracked jokes about how much money I had spent. And she, my wife Elena, kept hovering behind me, pretending to tie her shoes but clearly waiting for something. I didn't notice the phone clutched in her hand, the way her thumb hovered over the screen, the tension in her jaw that didn't belong in a morning meant for smiles. The drive to the airport was quiet, punctuated by my parents' chatter. I glanced at her once. She caught my eye, gave me that same polite, tight-lipped smile, and then looked away. Something in the air had shifted, though I wanted to deny it, rationalize it. I told myself I was paranoid. We'd been married 7 years. Trust was assumed. At the airport, while I helped my parents check in, she lingered behind, fumbling with her bag. When I finally turned to her, her face was calm, too calm. I tried to brush the thought off, but a whisper of doubt lodged itself in my mind. The flight itself was uneventful. I sat between my parents, watching them marvel at the clouds, pointing out shapes in the sky. Their laughter filled the cabin, warm and unguarded. But my attention drifted, and inevitably I found her. Elena was a few rows behind, texting, smirking faintly at her screen. My stomach tightened, a knot of something I didn't want to name yet. We landed in Paris, and the city wrapped around us like a dream. I had planned every detail: private tours, Michelin-star dinners, quiet walks along the Seine. My parents were enthralled, completely unaware of the storm brewing just a few feet away. Elena moved through it all like a shadow, present but distant, her attention constantly elsewhere. On the third day, at a quaint café tucked into a cobblestone street near Montmartre, I noticed her phone buzzing incessantly. She laughed quietly, a sound meant for someone else, and typed something quickly before hiding the device beneath her purse. A flicker of suspicion burned in me, but I swallowed it. I wanted to believe. I had to. That night, back in our suite overlooking the Eiffel Tower, I found it, the receipt. At first, I thought it was a mistake, maybe a booking for a surprise I hadn't known about. But the details hit me like a punch to the gut. A hotel in Rome, a name that wasn't mine, dates that overlapped perfectly with our supposed shared itinerary. My fingers shook as I traced the words, the betrayal crystallizing in my mind like ice forming over a lake. I confronted her in the room. My voice was steady, unnervingly so. "Elena, what is this?" I held up the receipt, my pulse hammering in my ears. Her eyes widened just slightly, but then she smiled, soft, almost seductive. "It's nothing. Just a business thing," she said, and for a moment, I wanted to believe her. I wanted to rationalize, forgive, forget. But the truth doesn't hide well. In the days that followed, I found more messages, photos, reservations, evidence carefully disguised as coincidence. My parents laughed, unaware that their son-in-law's perfect trip had become a stage for a silent horror. Each laugh, each shared pastry, each photograph of their joy was a dagger to my chest. I smiled for them, my heart cracking with every shutter click. The confrontation came to a head on our last night in Venice. We had taken a gondola under the Bridge of Sighs, and I watched her in the candlelight reflecting on the water. I spoke quietly, each word deliberate. "Why?" She looked at me then, really looked. And I saw it. The complexity of her motives, the selfishness and loneliness, the thrill of deceit mixed with regret. "I don't know what you mean," she said, but her eyes betrayed her. "I saw everything," I whispered. "Rome, the hotel, the messages. All of it." She turned away, gaze fixed on the water. "You wouldn't understand. You never do." I did understand. I understood that the woman I had loved, who had held my hand through storms and laughter, had been elsewhere in mind and body while I had been trying to give our family joy. The anger came first, sharp, fiery, pure. Then heartbreak, dense and suffocating, followed by disbelief that someone could lie so completely, so casually. We returned home. My parents were oblivious to the betrayal, and I let them be. They deserved the trip, deserved my love and devotion, untainted by the rot I now carried. Elena pretended nothing had changed, moving through the house with an effortless grace I once admired. But I saw her differently now. Every smile a potential lie, every touch a calculated move. One night, I packed a bag. She asked where I was going. I said nothing. Just left. The betrayal didn't need words anymore. It lived in the air between us, dense and suffocating. I drove to the edge of the city, parked by the river, and let the dark water mirror the emptiness I felt. I realized something that night. Love can endure a lot, but trust is delicate. Once broken, it seeps into every corner of your life, coloring everything, poisoning every memory. I had given her everything, my heart, my home, my family's joy, and she had returned only shadows. The next morning, I returned the key to our home, left a note on the counter. Some things cannot be repaired, even with love. Goodbye. And as I walked away, I understood the cruel truth of human relationships. The ones we trust the most are often the ones who hurt us the deepest. And no matter how many sunrises you witness, some betrayals haunt you forever, like a shadow you cannot outrun.